How often do you sit in bed staring at your phone or watching TV before you sleep? It's estimated that we lose about an extra 1 or 2 hours of sleep time because we just can't help ourselves. That is a lot of sleep, and that's just the half of it. Apart from just generally sleeping less, we also sleep less well. In this episode, we'll look at 9 ways in which technology is making us sick. Hi, I'm Dr. Sinan, the GP, your source on all things health related for you and your family. Our devices emit something called blue light, which delays our body's internal clock. Normally, when nighttime comes, our bodies know it's time to prepare for sleep, and it pumps out a hormone called melatonin, which gets us sleepy. Blue light emitted by our devices suppresses this. Can you remember going to bed and feeling quite sleepy and then just checking your phone quickly before you sleep, only to be on it for an hour later fully awake? Yeah, that's a mix of stimulation and blue light. The more electronic devices we use in the evening, the harder it is to fall asleep or stay asleep. The last thing you want to do at night before bed is to be mentally stimulated. Apart from delaying bedtime, it decreases the quality of sleep and prevents alertness the next morning. Multiply or compound this every night and you'll be chronically sleep deficient and fatigued. Most smartphones have blue light filters to automatically adjust the brightness at nighttime, and if you do check your devices at night, consider specs with blue light filters. They're very cheap to pick up and I think definitely worth the return on investment. One of my favorite sayings is, between what is said and not meant and what is meant and not said, most of love is lost. This is all about the nuanced art of communication, and technology has revolutionized the way we communicate. Misunderstandings are much more likely to occur when we text or email. We don't have those subtle clues that make up non-verbal communication. Our eyebrows, our smile, the body language. Am I sad, angry, or happy? Most of our communication is actually done online now and not in person. It really makes you wonder if our ability to read body language and nuance is eroding in our face-to-face encounters. This is not even mentioning the distraction. It's not just kids that get easily distracted. Adults are just as bad. Phones at the dinner table, while driving, while walking even. 65% of us have bumped into something or someone else because of checking our phones. Let me ask you, if your phone was waterproof, would you take it into the shower with you? All of the above, the lack of sleep, the distraction, the anxiety, this isn't great relationship material. Throw in phones at the dinner table, ready access to pornography, stilting traditional relationship expectations, and a preference for screen time over FaceTime. One of the worst things though is not only how we communicate with others, but how we communicate with ourselves. Our own internal monologue is equally distracted and bored and just craving immediate satisfaction. Woody Allen once famously said that he would buy a newspaper for a 30-second elevator ride just to avoid being alone with his thoughts. We have all the distraction in the world right here in our phones. And on the same note, having all that information at our fingertips is awesome, but is it just a little too convenient? When I asked my daughter recently, what's the capital of Mali? She looked at me and said, "Hey Google, what's the capital of Mali?" First thing, she thought I actually didn't know and I was actually asking for her help, which is only partly true. The second is she didn't actually realize that I was questioning her, a very normal act for a parent to do with their child. For her, it was just easier to ask Google than take the teeny tiny brain power it took to retrieve that information from her head. You have to wonder how this is affecting our creativity and thought and imagination. I don't know the answer here, but it's a frightening thought nonetheless. One thing that also troubles me is that we definitely do have access to more information than we can ever imagine and more ways of learning than we can ever sample. We're living in a funny time now. Technology can vastly improve our life, but it can also make us just more vulnerable and more ill. It's a strange irony that while technology makes it more difficult to sleep and move and can make us more anxious and isolated, it has apps to counteract all of these things. I've focused heavily on the harmful effects of technology here, but this isn't the whole story. If anything, the flip side of the story rarely needs to be articulated. We live and breathe the benefits of a more technologically connected world every day. There are obviously profound benefits to technology and interconnectedness, not least in the healthcare itself, with digital care, electronic records, and apps flourishing and providing care to many that would otherwise struggle. As time goes on, we'll be accessing and living even more of our lives through technology, so it's important to be aware of what your limit is. I think this technology overload limit is different for all of us at different times of our lives and under different circumstances. Having said this, we can get it right. Life is about balance and achieving the golden mean. So here are some top tips to go from tech slave to tech master. Spring clean, delete apps or remove and unfollow friends or accounts that make you feel miserable or stressed or drained. Unsubscribe from any newsletters that you don't read or don't add any value. I have about 1 million of these that I never read and just end up deleting and then feel bad about not reading them. The fewer unsolicited messages coming in, the better. You can always resubscribe if you genuinely miss them too. One of the best things that I've done is turn off notifications for almost everything. That's been a game changer. When I had notifications on, I used to pick up my phone and use it for about 3 extra hours a day. This is important too, as it prevents distraction, and distraction is the opposite of focus. Any distraction, any ping can derail you for a while. On average, it can take about 20 minutes to refocus after you've been distracted. Try a digital detox every now and again. Start small. I'd begin with taking a break at night before you sleep, and then slowly consider parts of the weekend or other times. It can be profound and instantly helps to break the maladaptive behavioral patterns that we have with technology. I usually put my phone on charge in another room in the evenings to prevent looking at it, and it's helped no end in just being a little bit more present at home with the family. Have a schedule for when you check your emails or check your social media. For example, check your emails for 1 hour before lunch and before close of play, and maybe check your social media for about 30 minutes before dinner. Something like this. This is all part of being deliberate and measured with our day and valuing our time. Do be mindful of why you're on social media too. Are you connecting with friends? Learning, or are you just mindlessly escaping? If you slip into endless escapism, then it's probably time to go to the offline world. And by the by, if you're commenting on social media, be positive. People that have positive interactions on social media platforms have much lower levels of low mood and anxiety. If you switch off all your devices at least an hour before bed, use blue light filters on your computer and phone, and do consider the blue light specs. It does make a small difference, which when you add over every night of your life can be huge. If you found today's topic useful, don't forget to share with your friends and family and click the subscribe button to stay in the loop. You can find out more at drsinanthegp.com. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions for future topics, I would love to hear from you. So do message in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching. Till next time, stay healthy.